Mirasee.
Hi, I'm Lou Bortone, and you're listening to Making It. I run a business called Lou Bortone Video Marketing, and we help entrepreneurs with video marketing strategy, planning, and done-for-you videos. My family has influenced me a lot in my business, and my Italian background, which I have sort of embraced, has influenced me in my work, ironically. I feel a strange pull to Italy, maybe because my grandparents were from there. My grandparents actually had 13 children. My dad was one of 13 children. So we grew up in a very big family. It was a loud family, which may explain why I was a bit of an introvert, because we were sort of like, okay, well, we'll let the adults kind of take control of things. But the other thing that's interesting is that having so many cousins and being part of such a loud family is you had to find ways to stand out without necessarily just yelling. So I think from a marketing standpoint, it's interesting because even though I'm an introvert and I don't particularly like talking about myself, I've tried to find ways to stand out and be noticed without kind of kicking and screaming. I worked in Los Angeles for many years, and I really had to try to find ways to stand out. Again, it's not about who talks the loudest. It's about basically getting results. So I used my creativity and I impressed, bosses and folks with just my creative thinking. And that served me really well in the movie business and the television business. And it also served me as an entrepreneur because once I left all that and went out on my own, there's nobody else to really promote you. You've got to kind of do everything on your own without sounding kind of self-aggrandizing. I mean, there used to be stories about if you wanted to be discovered in Hollywood in the, whatever it was, 40s and 50s in the golden age, you had to be discovered at Schwab's drugstore on Sunset Boulevard. And these days, you can now be sort of discovered on Facebook or TikTok. So we're seeing a lot of individuals kind of break through without any kind of traditional media. They're just being creative and they're sort of making their own way on YouTube and TikTok. Ironically, I got started in video because I was part of a little sketch comedy show that was doing videos for local cable access channels. So it was really just sort of a whim and doing that. And once we started putting those videos on YouTube, we said, okay, we're getting, a few hundred views on the local cable channel, but a few thousand views on YouTube. And that made me realize that, the power was really online rather than trying to sort of start organically. You could really get a big jump on things by using networks like YouTube. Like many entrepreneurs, my journey to entrepreneurship was not a straight and narrow path. There were a lot of starts and stops. I found myself at one point working at a radio station in Boston after having worked in Hollywood. And I said, oh my God, I'm back where I started from. I may as well just go out and do my own thing. So I left all that behind and decided that I could probably make a living by myself. And at first it was sort of doing a little of everything, copywriting and videos and things like that. I had a partner who had some video equipment, and the day he sold his $15,000 video camera and traded it in for an iPhone, I knew that that was it. It's like, okay, we don't need to have all this gear. It's really more about the content and the creativity than the equipment. So that's what sort of pushed me into the world of video marketing, and I've been there ever since. It's interesting because I don't know that when folks say, have you made it? I don't know that I've really made it. I always say, there's more to do and more to accomplish tomorrow. So I don't ever really see myself as making it. I think there are a lot of little milestones along the way, like, okay, I made more money this year than I did last year, or I have more business or more clients. But for me, it's really more about having the freedom and flexibility to work with who I want to work with and work on the kind of projects that I want to work with. So I think if making it is anything to me, it's really just about having the freedom and flexibility. Making it to me means being able to work from anywhere. This year, if all goes well, I'm going to spend 6 weeks in Italy working from there and playing from there. So I think making it is all about the flexibility, being able to travel, being able to choose which clients you want to work with. And that's really the ultimate dream for the entrepreneur, is to really, I want to work on the projects I want to work on, with who I want to work with, and where I want to work from. And I say that, look, your mission has to matter more than your fear or your tendency to be quiet. You have to realize that your mission matters, your message matters. And if you want to get that out there, you have to find ways to do it. And that doesn't necessarily mean being the loudest person in the room. It may just mean being one of the more creative people in the room. A lot of entrepreneurs delay getting started or don't start with a project or with video even because they feel like they're not ready. They don't have the right equipment. And really, the equipment has very little to do about it. It's really more about content and creativity and sharing your message. What I feel like is that I work with entrepreneurs whose messages matter, and I want to help them amplify those messages and help them get the word out to as many people as possible. And I find that video is the most powerful and quickest way to do that. One of the things that I didn't do when I was younger was ask for help and seek out mentors. And what I've realized is that it's really crucial to have those mentors, or what I like to call your consigliere, which is sort of the Italian or Godfather version of counselor. And I was really fortunate that my dad was in the same industry as me, or I should say I was in the same industry as him. So I sort of looked at him as my mentor and my consigliere. And I probably didn't appreciate it as much as I should have until he passed away. And I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have a consigliere. I don't have somebody to go to and lean on and, sounding board to help me not make decisions in a vacuum. My dad worked in the television industry. He worked at the same TV station for 38 years, his entire career. He was an Emmy-winning art director, sort of an industry icon. So I had really big shoes to fill when I followed in his footsteps. So there wasn't anything else that I wanted to do but go into the television business. So he was a huge influence in that I went into the TV business. I wasn't an artist like him. I was on the marketing side. But it was just a joy to be able to be in the same industry with him, go to the same conferences, see him winning awards and things like that. And I say, I didn't leave the TV business. The TV business left me because it changed so drastically. But still, having grown up with that influence was really a wonderful experience. I'm Lou Bortone, and you've been listening to Making It. You can find me at loubortone.com. That's LOUBORTONE.com.
Making It is part of the Mirasee FM podcast network, which also includes such shows as Course Lab and Just Between Coaches. This episode of Making It was assembled by Jeff Govertson. Cynthia Lamb produced the episode. Danny Bermant is our associate producer. Danny Inney is our executive producer. Post-production was by Post Office Sound. To catch the great episodes that are coming up on Making It, go ahead and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now. And if you liked this show, please leave us a starred review. It's the best way to help us get these ideas to more people. Thank you. We'll see you next time.